everybody, it's Zach. I'm here with Stephen and Jenna today, who I just helped buy the house of their dreams. And we just wanted to chat quickly about their experience. And you guys can hear straight from them how wonderful and special I am. So here we go. Thanks for being with me today, guys. I'm just going to start off. I want to ask you, where were you in your search for a home journey when we first connected with each other? Can you tell us about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So we had been hoping to buy a home in the summer of 2020, and the world being crazy the way it was, that was not in the cards. That became apparent, and so we ended up having to find a full home to rent, which would have enough space for us and for the kids, a 7 and a 5-year-old. We found a nice place, rented it for a year, and when it came time, 2021, to start looking at homes, the market looked like a total disaster. And I approached our property manager and said, "What are the chances that you all would sell this place to us?" And they agreed to, and that seemed like it would be worth at least $50,000 to not have to move our stuff out of the house.
Right, right. Yeah. So kind of a little unorthodox. We looked at a couple of places, but
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, just not having to compete in the market and just buying the place that you guys were renting made the most sense, right?
Totally. Well, and it was, the places that we looked at, I mean, it was a lateral move at best and probably a step down in a lot of them. And this place just had already been working for us so well for a year, and it made sense to just kind of make it official.
Yeah, yeah. I loved how I think the place down the street did it close when we were in the midst of yours? Did it close after?
The one across the street, it
During,
closed. Yeah, it closed
during,
during.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that was cool to know that you actually got a deal in this market when we looked at that one.
Yeah, yeah. It became more clear by the day that our situation was quite the deal, and the market being just crazy the way it is. I think that any way or any place you can find a deal is a welcomed relief for any home buyer.
For sure. Um, so what did you guys like about working with me and the other people on my team?
I can
Go ahead.
answer
Yeah,
first.
sure. Yeah.
It's a very intense process. It can be, and especially in a market like this. And we were, navigating with the property manager for this house, who also served as the realtor. So there were just a lot of people involved that made it complicated. And I think Zach did a really good job, just helping us feel like he had it handled. There's this kind of calm, quiet uh, nature about you that just made me feel that way. And I think there were a couple times when, we would get worried or anxious or a little riled up, to say the least. And this one over here, and I would just say, "How about you call Zach about that?" And that always.
And I would, and it would be the best suggestion ever. Jenna's being very polite. So first of all, I mean, my one of my good friends recommended you, and I highly esteem his opinion. And once he recommended you, I did not deviate in my decision to just, I don't even know who this Zach guy is, but if my friend Mike recommends him, he's got to be good. And he was spot on. And yeah, that's putting it politely. Zach, you talked me off a ledge on more than one occasion, and on at least one occasion, I was leaning quite dramatically over the edge, and you very calmly, sort of you bared with me. You showed a tremendous amount of I think patience and wisdom, and I appreciate that. It was a tremendous help to me. I couldn't have done it. We couldn't have done this process without you. Absolutely, absolutely not.
Appreciate that. I like the visual there, kind of like holding somebody and pulling them back over the
That's
edge.
and I don't think that's a really exaggerated visual. I think that's exactly what we were looking at. And you if you ever want to get out of real estate, you probably could do some sort of like crisis intervention for police departments, like hostage negotiations, because you have that kind of demeanor, and it totally works. And also, we looked at homes, and I mean, I'm aware of what the market is. I am aware of how much your time is worth. And when we started talking about buying the rental, the fee was going to look different than if we, we're going to just sort of buy a house traditionally. And you were totally flexible with that. And you didn't seem grudging about it. You just seemed happy to kind of go with whatever it was we had to do to get us into a home. There was never a point where I felt like anything other than our best interests were first and foremost in your mind. I mean, you even had your wife come out and help us. I mean,
Yeah.
what service, right?
You get everybody.
Everybody's involved. We're gonna make this happen. Thanks to community.
And I think that was kind of one of the unique things about this deal. Like, you guys were around that $600,000 price point, which would, normally as a buyer's agent getting 3% for round numbers, so about 18,000 would be the commission approximately on that, a little bit less. And in this particular case, the sellers actually weren't willing to pay a commission like is typically the case. And we had you guys pay, and it was I think it was $5,000 we agreed to, which I felt like was reasonable. And
Insanely fair price.
yeah, so I think that's important. A lot of agents out there, they're looking to close the next deal and make as much money as they can and move along. And I think the position that I come from is helping, and if I can help you guys get through that and not break the bank doing it, but still provide that same level of service that you would expect if your agent was going to be making a decent amount, like a large amount of money, like would normally be the case. But yeah, I think that's important, to have somebody on your side that's willing to do what needs to be done.
So true. And I mean, the thing that I appreciate so much is that you allowed for so much I think just like creativity in the process, right? It's sort of like it'd be easy to be like, well, this is how these things go, and we got to find a way to make it go this way. And I think that what came through to me very clearly, Zach, is that you don't just see yourself as kind of a broker for these kinds of things, people buying and selling, but it's clear to me that you identify yourself as being a pretty central part of the housing market, and that real estate agents such as yourself help shape that, right? You sort of help determine how that's going to go and how it's going to look. And there's something other than just kind of, chance at play. And I appreciated that so much.
Yeah, I think we had an issue with the insurance and the roof, and it was a little complex there, and that was definitely a roadblock. And I think good real estate agents, know how to knock those roadblocks down. I get no's all day long. I'm talking to people and they say, I don't want to sell, or I'm not going to buy, or whatever the case is. And it's the same within a real estate transaction. We had some no's as it related to insurance. And, if one person's going to say no, well, then let's ask 20 more people and find a yes somewhere. So I think that's important, kind of problem solving your way through a deal. And it can be very frustrating and, annoying to deal with, but you just have to keep pushing on through.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to keep taking over for for Jenna, who probably has things she wants to say, but I mean, that even the way you're talking about is like that classic understatement of yours, where I think a lot of people who are in sales or real estate, they approach it as a no means maybe and a maybe means yes, and it's like this very aggressive approach, right? And you have this like basically the same way of doing it, but without the strong arming and without the the forcefulness. And it's just like, all right, well, we'll see, right? It's like there's a roadblock. How much time do we have? We got another few days. Let's see what happens with it, right? And it's just kind of like gently soliciting more information, more opportunities, and then you get me to come back off the ledge a little bit, and before long the situation's just going through. It's fine. Nobody has to lose their heads. Everybody's happy.
Right.
Eventually.
Yeah, just keeping everybody calm. So just kind of switching gears a little bit, how many deals have we done together?
This was our first.
This would be the first,
Okay, great.
but probably not the last.
Probably. Right, good. That's what we like to hear. So based on this one experience, you guys feel pretty confident in saying that you would refer me to your friends and family and work with me again in the future, right?
We will be, yes.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
So a lot of times I get into kind of competitive situations where, multiple agents are being interviewed and that sort of thing. Um, and I have, the people that I'm trying to get business from are sometimes sort of on the edge as opposed to, just kind of jumping in. They're maybe a little hesitant. So what, for someone who doesn't know me, that I've maybe met with a handful of times and I'm working on closing, the deal and getting their business and taking it away from another agent, what would you guys say to somebody who hasn't met me before, that's kind of in play like that, so to speak, and contemplating working with me and hiring me as their agent?
Yeah, I can take this. I feel like, sort of to piggyback off of what Steven said earlier, I feel like, Zach, you're not a salesperson. I mean, obviously that's a component of the transaction. But when you think of traditional salesperson, I feel like working with you and what you exemplify is much, much more than that. And I think when you're going through a transaction like this, which is a huge decision for all parties, you really want to feel like you have someone who knows the complexities, understands the different levers that we can pull at different times, and ultimately can, make you feel comfortable. And, I think Stephen and I both really felt that way about you, and we felt like there was no pushing. It was just an incredibly supportive, well-guided and executed process.
Right.
Very well said. I think so. The question is basically, what do we say to people who are like on the fence? Is that right?
Right.
Right.
Like,
I mean, the first thing I'd say is like, what are you doing up on a fence?
you're right.
That looks uncomfortable. You don't belong up there. Get off the fence. You look awkward and unnatural. Come down on, and when you come down on Zach's side, because he's going to get you to the place you want to go. Frankly, I think that for any people on the fence, I think that in my view, after having worked with you now, that decision that they're going through, I don't think has anything to do with you, because I think they could just come down and say, hey, let's do this, and get what they want. I think it has more to do with people being really insecure right now and anxious about the market, and everybody has this sense of, how am I going to get the thing that I want, right? And so they kind of play this non-committal game for as long as they can until they're thoroughly convinced that somehow they're going to get what they want, right? They're trying to predict the future. And my advice, by the way, whoever is watching this, I'm a psychologist, just forget that anxiety, put it away. You can't predict the future. You just want somebody who's capable and who's going to take you to the place that you're going to go. And should you find yourself on a ledge, is going to be very capable of bringing you back and helping you endure through the process. Because at the end of the day, that's what's going to make the difference, is a real estate agent who can endure with people through the process, because you're just like several times 2 steps shy of complete madness. And so you need somebody who can just navigate all the way from start to finish. And you did that, and then some. And so we will always be recommending you.
Love that.
You decide to have like this negotiator person, and then maybe it'll be a different set of referrals.
Awesome. Well, guys, I really appreciate your time today, and thank you for all the kind words. And this was great. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Zach.
Thank
you. We are loving the place. Can't wait to have you over to see what we've been up to here.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We'll be over whenever you're ready for us.